The last question, and I believe this will begin. Who was the last person to start a question? Was with Dave, then we'll start with Chip.
No.
Or no, we'll start with Dave. What do you believe is the most important issue in District 1?
Well, I believe it's the economy. It's not only District 1, but it's national and state. You know, houses are foreclosing still. People are out of work. I've walked pretty much all the neighborhoods in District 1. I've probably worn out 2 pairs of tennis shoes, and I asked people, what is your biggest issue? And it's just what I said. And but it's not what the issue is. What are you going to do about it? And I think, and I really believe in our economic engines in District 1. We've got such a diverse group of economic engines. It's the Department of Defense, China Naval Weapons Center in the Indian Wells Valley. It's recreation and tourism in the Kern Valley, and it's oil and ag production in the western side of the district. We've got to do everything we can to reduce regulations and double fees and whatever we can do to pump up those economic engines, because they support our small businesses. And small businesses nationally hire more people than any other thing, even large corporations. So keep your economic engines healthy. That'll keep your small businesses healthy, and then that creates jobs and things like that. That also includes, did that thing go off for me already?
Yeah. No,
boy, that was a quick 2 minutes.
It was left over.
Oh, keep going.
You sound a good man.
I didn't reset it.
Well,
You could have kept going, but now you're wasting.
well, furthermore, you know what? The thing is, I'm a fiscal conservative, and I really believe that we've got to watch out for waste and fraud too. And that's some of the biggest things I see in government is so much money's wasted. You know, unintentionally, a lot of it's wasted, and then of course we've had issues with fraud. The other thing is getting water delivery into Kern County. That's so important. We don't want fallow ag land sitting out there. That's ridiculous. You know, water, and I like to eat, produces food and also produces jobs. So we've got to really make sure that is on top of our agenda.
Thank you.
We've got to expand our economic base, and we have such great opportunity in Kern County because we could literally be a country on our own. We have the military bases. We have everything Dave already said. I don't want to waste my time repeating what he said, but we've got so many different segments that we, in a way, should be able to insulate ourselves from economic downturns, because we got so many industries that when one's doing bad, the other one should do better. Right now, we had the worst foreclosure market in the country in several occasions and over several periods in the last couple of years in Bakersfield, but our property tax revenue didn't drop because the oil prices went up and we were able to tax oil value in the ground, and the fact that we would put so many windmills up, and windmills actually pay property taxes as opposed to solar. The biggest problem we have in Kern County is the state of California. We've got to convince people that Kern County is not like the state of California. 274 businesses left the state of California, major businesses left the state of California last year, and we can't afford that to happen. The sales tax increase that the governor is proposing in this next election is only going to hurt the people that provide the most for the state of California. And we've got to stop kowtowing to the people that produce the least and punish the people that produce the most. But in Kern County, we have a tremendous opportunity to expand our economic base, bring the revenues up to the county. I've already told you 4 things I would do: pension reform, greater efficiency. Dave's right, waste fraud abuse is rampant and throughout the county, and independent review of regulations that restrict and rescind regulations that restrict businesses' ability to grow. And I think that the discussion of mandatory drug testing, while that's going to be difficult because Florida's under lawsuits, just that discussion will discourage people from coming to Kern County who are only going to take from the system and not support the system. And I think we need to quit encouraging those type of people to be in Kern County.
Thank you, Mr. Holloway. Mr. Ashburn?
Well, the obvious highest priority issue are jobs and the economy, because our people in Kern County are worried about whether they're going to be able to retain a job, whether businesses are going to have an opportunity to expand and to grow and to provide opportunities so that people can participate in the private sector and to have a quality of life for themselves. But underlying that is the issue of our fundamental rights. And I would offer to you the experience that I have as your state legislator and supervisor, because remember when the government came down to Kern County and they were going to take Rancher Kenneth Maven's land by eminent domain so that the protection of an endangered weed in Fresno County could be offset or mitigated in our county. I was county supervisor at that time, and Kenneth Maven's fight was the fight of all of us in Kern County for our individual rights and liberties. I had Kern County defend Kenneth Maven. We took that case all the way to the state Supreme Court, and we made case law that you may not take property, private property by eminent domain for purposes of mitigation for endangered species. Similarly, in eastern Kern County, when people couldn't use their private property rights, I'm the one who did something that no one had ever done before. I delisted a species under the California Endangered Species Act. The people rallying together to protect our private property rights. I'm the one that time and again fought the wilderness legislation that the federal government tried to impose on the people of Kern County. I'm the author of California's welfare reform that fundamentally changed welfare in California from an entitlement to a work-based program and a time-limited program. 2 million fewer Californians on welfare today because of that fundamental change. And we need to do more in the work requirement. I offer those as examples of fundamental issues and experience that makes a difference as we address the problems of Kern County going forward.
Thank you.
And you also voted in favor of a flawed budget that should never have passed the legislature. The biggest problem that exists in Kern County is government getting in the way instead of doing what it's supposed to do, which is get out there and help the people. We have 3 major zones and 3 major issues. We have the China Lake, Bracken realignment that's coming because of federal people that are in charge that are talking about shrinking our budget for military. We have the dam that the federal government's going to come here and tell us how they want to do it, regardless of what we tell them we want to see done. And we have the water issue that exists in the western part of the 1st District because the state all of a sudden won't give us the water we deserve, won't pass water bills that allow the water to flow, and now are looking at a whole new level of regulation having to do with the groundwater that farmers are going to be using. These are the issues facing us right now, and they all boil down to government getting in the way instead of listening to the will of the people. And that is what we have to constantly fight against. At the county level, it means we've got to make sure that we're not getting in the way. We have to look at the regulations that we have in place that are impeding progress on all these issues. We have to be ready to negotiate between the farmers and the oil and the independent oil companies that are about to go to battle right here in our own county. We have to pay attention and make sure what we're doing at the county level is speaking loud and clear to the state, telling them what our will is. And we have to be ready to go there, not as elected officials, as citizens, as volunteers, as people ready and willing to fight back when the government is telling us how to run our own business. I see the main issue as government regulation.
Thank you. Mr. Gleason?
I think the major issue facing the county government today is a lack of leadership. I think leadership is the way to drive us out of the problems that we're faced with today from an economic basis. The money will follow the leadership, but first and foremost, we need to have people making decisions that understand that we need to create a pro-business environment where entrepreneurs and existing businesses understand the playing field, understand create a predictable environment so these people understand when to take and when to not take risks in order to make money, create wealth, and hire people. And that would cause an expansion of our tax base, and that would help us drive out of the economic problems that are facing us and the unemployment problems that are facing us. At the same time, we have a strategic view of a pro-business, strategic view and development plan. I would also target specific areas of tactical concern, and I would list those as 3 major ones, being Lake Isabella Dam, I think is going to have an adverse impact, not only on the folks up in Isabella and Kern River Valley, but on the entire county. And I talked to them. I suggested they form a 501c4 organization, hire a board of directors, hire an executive director, pay for it, collect funds, rent out a building, develop a headquarters, and create an organization. We develop committees. We have a strategic communications committee. We have a noise pollution committee. We have a traffic committee. You have all committees for every issue that you have. And then you bring people in. For example, a strategic committee works on bringing executives from Sacramento, from DC, Army Corps of Engineers to come and keep the community abreast, step by step by step, on every decision that's being made that's going to impact the businesses in Lake Isabella. Second issue is BRAC, base realignment and closure in the Eastern Kern. I was the commanding officer of the base the last time the BRAC happened. Nobody on this panel, or few people in this county, know more about BRAC than I do. I've already started a China Lake Alliance. I'm the executive director of that. Our focus is to support the Navy of China Lake and to mitigate, we're working hard to mitigate any impacts BRAC, if it occurs, will have on that community, because it is a major economic driver in the Eastern Kern Valley, and it impacts us also here down in Bakersfield. I've also invited the Kern Board of Supervisors to have their council meetings next week up in Ridgecrest. They've accepted. They're moving up there May 30th to have their meeting. I'm also working with Kern EDC, Richard Chapman, to bring Richard Chapman and the Kern EDC up to Ridgecrest. I've also worked with Diana Hedrick up in Delano to get the Kern EDC to move to Delano, and I'm getting the old single. So I'm believing in communications, in a government that enables businesses to make smart decisions, leverage each other's best assets, and to find solutions.
Thank you.
That was as fast as I could talk.
Ms. Hess?
I just want to say that forming all these committees up in Lake Isabella, seriously, Mick, you really think you're going to do that? I agree with what a lot of people say, and Mick's right on. BRAC is important, the dam is important, the water issue on this side is important. We have an undereducated workforce. But in my opinion, all roads lead back to Sacramento. We have unfunded mandates, the realignment issue. The state continues to balance their budgets on the backs of cities and counties. Economic development's been taken away from us. That needs to be revisited. We have onerous regulations, and for positive change for our county, as well as the state, as the next elected supervisor, as I'm going to be on the board of directors and work my way into an executive board of directors of CSAC. Chip, I'm so sorry. I'm just surprised you didn't go there with this. To make change in this county, you need to be sitting at the table with other counties, and you need to be working with Sacramento. We need to look at the Endangered Species Act. We need to look at CEQA. Since when does a little fish take priority over water to the farmers? And right now, the governor's been quoted as far as these renewable energy projects. He wants to centralize decision making, which is going to take it away from the local folks. Land use issues, they need to be made local. I believe the biggest issue is Sacramento. And I'm not saying any of the other issues they're just as important, but all roads lead back to Sacramento. They're strangleholding us.
Thank you, Ms. Hess. I guess that's everybody on the panel, isn't it? The Bakersfield Tea Party would like to say thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you.
We look forward to November and the runoff. This has been very informative, and we hope you have a very good evening.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
Yes, we are. I'm done. Did you want to come up?
Heidi, would you